Ahoy, this is Zdenka. How to use Hohem iSteady M7 Gimbal in Hohem Joy App. I will be using Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. This is in-depth tutorial. Timestamps are enabled so you can find the parts you're looking for easier. This video is brought to you by Hohem. Let's open up Hohem Joy App, connect the M7 Gimbal, and go straight to the filming interface. Let's start with the icons on the left side. I'm going to skip the home icon as that I will explain in the end of the video once we get to video editing. The first icon below is for filming in automatic or manual mode. Before you film, it is best to tap on the screen to select the correct exposure with the slider and lock it by pressing and holding until you see Focus Exposure Lock enabled. That will help with not having an overexposed image, and once you start moving around, the exposure will not be shifting if you hit dark or bright areas. If you film in steady light conditions, you can also adjust the exposure once you hit the auto icon. On a bright sunny day, you might bring it down a little. If you want to have complete control over video, you might choose to film in manual mode. How to set it up? It is fairly easy. If you film, for example, in 24 frames per second, you want to double the shutter speed. So 24 times 2 is 48. The closest is 1/50th. Start with ISO 100. If you are filming outdoors, you will need ND filter that works as sunglasses. I have a set here from Freewell. I also have a Freewell case on the phone. It's all magnetic. You just snap it on like this. All you have to do is just choose the appropriate filter strength. If you are filming in darker conditions or indoors, you won't need ND filter, but you will need to bring the ISO up to brighten the image. At the bottom of the screen is where you can see all your settings, such as shutter speed, ISO, and exposure. Let's leave manual filming mode and set it back to automatic mode. And now let's go to video resolution and frame rates. The biggest resolution you can film at is 4K, the lower is 1080p, and the lowest is 720p. Video frame rates available for all are 24, 25, 30, and 60 frames per second. The next icon is for enabling smartphone light, and the last icon on the left takes you to settings. The first page takes you to camera parameters. By default, the photo size is 4:3. However, you can change it to 1:1, 3:2, and 16:9. If you have mirror selfie enabled, I would suggest turning it off. If you have it on, once you mix front and rear camera footage, you will not get a consistent look. The sides will be flipped, so keep it off. Grid helps you with composition. You can enable diagonal, cross, and classic rules of third grid. I highly suggest enabling the classic grid. It will help you keep the horizon straight at the very least. White balance settings are next. You can leave it on auto or choose one of these options based on the lighting. Right now, not all of them are working correctly. However, I'm finding that this is not fully compatible with this phone at this time of recording of this video. When I select daytime or customize, there is no change there. It is the end of March 2025, so this might change with future updates. Zoom speed setting is next. How do you zoom in and out? The record button has zoom ring that you will use to zoom in and out. Linear zoom speed is next. As it says here, when turned on, zoom increases or decreases by a fixed value. I'm finding that once it is on, zoom is a bit slower and also much smoother. If you would like to hear a beep sound when you press record button, you can enable a recording beep. Quick preview is next. What is it? If you enable this, once you hit stop recording, the clip will be played right after. Slow motion compatible mode allows you to record videos at higher frame rates like 120 frames per second or 240 frames per second, to create slow motion effects. If your phone's camera supports it natively. Record compatibility mode allows you to use the gimbal's buttons, like the shutter button, to control recording functions, even when using your phone's native camera app, not just within the Hohem Joy app. Enable Legacy Gesture activates an older, simpler gesture control system, which allows you to control the gimbal's functions using hand gestures, such as V or palm gesture, for taking photos or stopping video recording. If you would like to save unstitched Pano photo, you can enable it here as well. Let's go to the next page, which is Gimbal Parameter Settings. Working mode setting takes you to Gimbal's modes. When you select one of the modes, it will show you below which motors are activated to help you understand better. Follow speed refers to this following movement. There are 3 options: slow for smooth cinematic shots, medium for general shots, and fast for fast action shots. Motor response is next. Medium is selected by default. If you have a smartphone with abnormal dimensions, weight, and back cover shape, low is the best setting. High will give enhanced gimbal stabilization. As it says here though, a few types of phones might vibrate, so if that happens, switch to medium or low. Tilt tracking is enabled by default. That means that if you move down or up, the gimbal will track you. If you need only pan tracking without movements up and down, you can disable the tilt here. A to B motion duration. This is for those 2 buttons that let you program movement. Can be changed here. By default, 15 seconds is selected. You can go all the way up to 60 minutes. Inception mode, rotate speed, can be adjusted here. If you press joystick left or right, by default, you will be panning to the sides. Another option would be changing it to roll movement. Now, when you press left and right, you will get to roll. Let's keep it on pan. The next setting lets you reverse left and right joystick movement. You can adjust joystick speed, reverse it up and down movement, and also adjust up and down movement speed. If you want to manually adjust the position, you can adjust tilt, roll, and pan. Once you slide left or right, you can see immediately how the frame moved. 0 is default for all. If you are filming, for example, a wedding, you might want to turn off all the beeping sounds. The setting gimbal sound is below. If you find that the camera has a crooked horizon, you can perform auto calibration. Below is where you can restore settings to default and factory reset an AI vision sensor. More settings is the last page. This is where you see all information about the gimbal and firmware update. Now that we covered the left side, let's go through the top icons. The first icon takes you to pre-designed storyboards based on the location you choose. It will give you all shots. Once you hit start, it will show you the final shot. Below is guide how to get the shot. Once you start and film the shot, once you hit stop, it will compare example with your shot. You have a choice to reshoot or go to the next shot. Once you complete all shots, you will get to story. If you hit the next icon, you can switch between zoom and focus. With M7, you don't have to change this function, as the side wheel is controlling focus and the red ring on the shutter button controls the zoom. Filters are next. You can just choose one of the many looks offered or turn it off to select default look. Beauty mode is next. You can select auto or manually select slim or resize. Let's go to gesture controls. When you enable gesture control, you will use this gesture to take a picture or start recording. This gesture for start face tracking and hand gesture for stop face tracking. If you're like me and wave hands a lot when you talk, you can disable stop gesture. You would just hit the shutter button to stop recording. You can also enable tracking by dragging the area you want to track on the screen. Further right at the top are icons that will show Bluetooth connection, what gimbal mode you have selected, gimbal battery life, and smartphone battery. Below is where you switch between front and rear camera, shutter, and access gallery. Let's go to the right side and explain filming modes. Panorama is first. You can take panorama with main camera or ultra-wide camera. On the left side is where you can select what type of panorama you want. 3x3, 120 degrees, 180, 240, 360, or clone me. Panorama shots can be taken in automatic mode only. Photo lets you take photos in automatic or manual mode, and you can also enable timer. Video mode has been already covered throughout the video, so let's move to time-lapse. Time-lapse can be filmed only in 30 frames per second in automatic or manual mode. How do you enable time-lapse? First, you need to select shutter depending on how fast movement of clouds, crowd, or traffic is. The faster moving object is, the faster shutter speed you will use. The slower moving objects, such as clouds, the slower shutter you will use. For example, fast moving clouds, I would try 2 seconds. Slowly moving clouds, I would try 5 seconds. There are many guides online you can print out with shutter speed suggestions. Next thing you want to set up is the duration time, how long you want to record the video for. For example, if I select 5 minutes, I will end up with 5-second clip. 5 seconds is not enough, so I need to increase the time to get longer final result. At the bottom are parameters. Here is where you can select if you are recording just a static time-lapse, customized track, which is moving time-lapse. You can select up to 5 frames, so you can choose where you want the camera to move. Another option is to film left to right time-lapse or right to left. Timewarp is filming a time-lapse on the go. Not a static time-lapse, you will be walking with the camera. On the left is where you select resolution and shutter speed. The choices are 5 times, 10 times, 15 times, and 30 times. I personally like the slower ones, so I usually stick to 5 times or 10 times. You can film in automatic or manual mode. Slow motion is next. Again, you can film in automatic or manual mode. Video resolution available is 720p or 1080p, and frame rates are 120 or 240 frames per second. Let's go to the final mode called Moment. First of all, if you don't want the music to play, you can disable it on the left. Here is where you can find more filming modes and pre-designed filming templates. Inception mode is first. This one is easy. Just press start and let the camera spin. Fantastic Rotation has programmed roll movements to the music. Again, all you have to do is just hit the start. Panoramic video will make the camera spin 360 degrees all around. Smart Motion Time-Lapse is just another easier option for time-lapses with simple settings. Here you can select panning angle range and recording duration. You will get 15 seconds clip. Dolly Zoom lets you select auto zoom range and time. Smart Dolly Zoom is automatic. Here you just select move in or move out and drag the box around the subject. Night Rain lets you create this rain effect in your video. Raindrop Control is another fun rain effect. Back to the Past creates 80s style footage. Travel lets you record 4 clips that will be edited with music automatically. Facing the Sea is the same as Travel. Again, you can record 4 clips that will be edited together. Let's finally hit the home icon. If you have many clips filmed and need quick edit, you can hit Video Editor, select one of the templates, download it, select your clips, and let the app edit the final video for you. You can still change the clips before you export. Give it a thumbs up if you found this video helpful. Don't forget to subscribe for more, and I'll see you in one of those next. Ciao, ahoj!